Okay, we're live. It's Wednesday. Let's play the song. It's not the song. Well, it is the song, but I forgot to switch it to this. Now I can play the song.
Get ready to ignite. Wednesday morning bright. Gotta get those wheels turned. Gotta do it right. With our friendly neighborhood cop, Sean Shapiro's inside. Ask a traffic cop. Gonna make your day alive. Got your questions lined up about traffic rules and more. Make it onto your street safe. That's what Sean's got in store. He's got the knowledge, expertise, gonna share it galore. Ask a traffic cop, gonna give you the score. Yeah, rocking the airwaves with traffic cop beats, education and fun. Get ready for the heat. Ask a traffic cop, gonna make your morning sweet. Ontario, we got this. Keep our streets elite. Yeah.
I'm having. I say it every morning now that I'm playing with this, but Suno allows me to type in some stuff. It's AI generated music, and it took like 10 minutes to do that. Actually, it took less. You typed in a paragraph and hit go. But I tried a couple of versions until I found one that I liked, and I actually like that. Oh, gotta stop that. That's for later. Today we're joining Jerry Agar on News Talk 1010. That's going to happen at 10:35. But about 10:30 we'll get connected with Control, and then we will chat about stuff and things with them live on the air in Toronto. And since we have the technology, let me give you those numbers now if you want to hang out till then. To join Jerry Agar live, you can phone in at 416-872-1010 or text your questions to 71010, and you'll talk to Control, and you'll tell them that you want to ask, and then they'll say yay or nay and put you on the show, hopefully, so you can have a conversation with us live. It's pretty cool. I'd love to be able to do this every day, have phone-in stuff. I just don't have a team that it would take to facilitate that. So, yeah. Now, this is a show where we answer your traffic and police questions. And, of course, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police officer with Toronto Police, and I talk about this stuff every day. It doesn't matter if I'm at work or not. Traffic safety is a big deal to me. And the show is all about you because you get to ask us questions. We do it for an hour. At least yesterday was an hour and 45 minutes. We went long because there was a lot of activity, lots to talk about. We can't do that today. I have to end at 11 o'clock because I have to be somewhere else by 12, which means we are going to try and keep the pace going. Quick hellos. We've got Akela Draconis with greetings and salutations, which is something that you may be used to if you watch the show. Also, if you don't watch the show, if you're new to the channel, please follow us. Please like and subscribe. If you're on X, you can engage. Actually, let's talk about this quickly. Getting my order of operations all out of kabobble. But we are on TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Kick, and of course X, which is formerly called Twitter. And all of those platforms allow you to communicate. You can ask us questions from all of those platforms. If you are on X, make sure you click into the actual the event, the live stream, and in there you'll have a new text window. Don't leave comments on the post. Make sure you throw in your question into the chat box, and then we'll be able to put you on screen just like Akela's on screen right now with his greetings. Now, if you can't join us live and you want to take up the show later, you can always watch us on YouTube. Every episode is archived there. Most of the episodes, actually, you can pretty much go into all of the platforms and watch reruns, but it's organized when it's on YouTube. And of course, it's also organized as a podcast. I download the episodes, I put them up. They're available as audio only on Apple Podcasts, iHeart Podcasts. You can get it on Spotify as video or audio, but that allows you to synchronize it to your phone. And then when you're driving around, you can listen to it without burning your data or breaking the law. And that's really important to me. Being a traffic cop, I want you to be safe. Yeah, that's a thing. Safety is important. Now, before I get into even the greetings, I'm going to get, since I have the button in front of me, Vision Zero Enforcement Team. I want to talk about that. They are a dedicated group of officers who go out throughout the city. They go out throughout. Yeah, they spend time in the city because they're Toronto cops. They go in the city and they change driver behavior one ticket at a time. They do that because it's important. Because the driver behavior that they're focused on enforcing is the stuff that leads to serious injury and death on our roads. right? We want people to be safe. That's the goal. This is how you do it. We educate here. If the education doesn't sink in or it doesn't get to you, well, we might be educating you through enforcement on a one-on-one discussion. And what is that discussion going to be about? Well, it's going to be about the big four. Speeding, aggressive driving, distracted driving, and impaired driving. That's not to say you won't get tickets for other things. They'll ticket you for anything that you've broken the law for, but their focus is that. They are today in 22 Division and 55 Division. That's Etobicoke, West Mall, Queensway, the Beaches, Riverdale, Danforth, East York, neighborhoods where real people live, work, and play and deserve to be safe. And we announce it every morning where they are going to be. We put it up on our Twitter account. We put it up, X account. We put it up on our Instagram account. We put it on our Facebook page. If you'd like to follow us on any one of those, or if you'd like to see other places you can engage with us, go over to trafficcop.ca. Links to all of our stuff is there, including useful information like renewing your license, like setting up for alerts, for reminders, because you may not know this, but the ministry doesn't send you reminders anymore in Ontario. If you'd like to sign up for those reminders, you can do that at a link on our page. Just scroll to the bottom. The top's all social media. The bottom is all about you and helping you out to do those things. Did I cover everything I needed to cover? I think so. Let's go back to the chat and see what's up. Got a dad joke from Michaela, got a yogi quote. And, Michaela wants to know if he can bring his son to meet me. He's expressed interest in applying for the job. I think that's a great opportunity. We'll have to talk about that, Michaela. Jordan says, good morning, Sean. And we got Northern Pike who says, good morning, Sean, and everyone. I like how inclusive Northern Pike is. He always addresses the audience, too. Julie says, good morning, everyone. Hey, Julie's on the same track. Everybody's included here. We got Stephen Bell with a good morning. We have Tian with a good morning. All. Let's see. We've got Tim Shallow. Haven't seen you in a while, Tim. Good to see you. Akila, I guess, like the song, says it's a bit heavier. Yeah, so Monday was a 90s TV show jingle. That's what I asked the AI to create. Yesterday was a rap. Today was rock. And I'm having, like I said, too much fun. Okay. Michael's got a question. We'll come back to that. Boy Mom B424. Oh, sorry, 8424. Icons and text look all the same and when they're tiny. But good morning to Sean and Murray if he joins. I like how you're getting ahead of the curve in case he shows up. Northern Pike says it would be fun to have Randall Arsenault and PC Pappy on sometime. Randy's no longer a police officer. He left a couple years ago, but I'd love to have him on. He has his own channel and does his own thing, but I think that's a great idea. He's now involved with other stuff and things with the government. And PC Pappy is a member of the Vision Zero Enforcement Unit, so he'd be a great guy to have on the show. And I talked to him about it briefly, but we should make that happen. Juan wants to know what I think about OPP presence in Montreal. I didn't know there was a presence in Montreal. I have not been following the news over the last little while, just being too busy. We've got I didn't see Michael's dad joke. I guess it was too earlier, but I'll flag it for too earlier. It was too early. Constantino Gusto has a question. Radek says, good morning. And Inshan 519 says, thank you for your service. Well, thank you very much. I enjoy what I do. No thanks are needed. I signed up for this, and I have a lot of fun doing it. Mind you, I signed up to be doing it differently, but due to a collision, if you don't know my backstory, I was a motor squad officer. I got hit on when I was on a motorcycle on duty, and I was injured, and I've not really recovered from that, not to the point where I can go back on the road. I'm a lot better than I was, but I'm not where I need to be. Let's see here. We'll come back to Martin's comments about keys. What is this? How come there's no alert or signal for drivers opposite those that have an advanced signal? Oh, interesting. Okay, I think we talked about this yesterday, but we'll talk about it again. Monday and Tuesday, this is Stephen. He says, Monday and Tuesday he slept in and no, I'm not under the weather. It's just the time change. It's funny you mentioned that. We did a lot of news right around the time change. And that is to remind people that time change affects people. We see an uptick in collisions during any time change, whether it be spring forward, fall back. We see about 2 weeks where people are just not feeling themselves. And that means that you need to give yourself extra time, take care of yourself, do what you need to do to drive safely. because if you think it's just status quo, people tend to have problems. And good on you for sleeping in and taking care of yourself if you can do it. Obviously, I endorse that. Just a reminder, two things. One, put a Q in the question or the beginning of the question so that I can identify it as a question. Very often there's a lot of banter amongst people in the chat. I don't know it's a question unless you put the letter Q in front of it. And please, spam is for canned. I don't even eat this stuff, but Kayla gave this to me, so it's my prop for please don't spam the chat. We had a lot of folks yesterday who were asking the same question repeatedly, and guess what? I don't see it live. I mean, it's live, but I'm reading questions from 10:10. It's now 10:11. As things start coming in and we talk longer, I could be 15 minutes behind. So I appreciate that everyone wants an answer. I'll do my best to answer, but it's not instantaneous response, and there's an order of operations here. Alex May says, good morning. The question is, how do I feel about carbon tax increase? Nobody likes tax, but I don't really have I don't get into the politics of things other than nobody likes to pay more. Let's see here. Radek wants to know if it's possible to cancel a ticket shortly after issuing it. And so a couple of things are true. One, if I'm at the side of the road and I type it out and I issue it to you, I hand it to you, and I realize there's a mistake and I haven't sent it yet, I can cancel it. And if you're still there, I can go and give you a new copy, or I can decide to take whatever I want. I have that option. If I've issued it, there is a process that I would have to go to a supervisor, get approval to reverse it. But it's an onerous, it's a lot. Like, there has to be a good reason for it. We don't generally take tickets back. You can go to court and you can dispute it. But if I know, like I had a situation where I realized I was wrong. Something happened. I issued them a ticket. I thought I was in the right. I got mixed up somehow, or I don't remember the details, but I was wrong. I felt bad about it. I decided to call the guy up. I found him. I went through the process of I told him, don't pay the ticket, and I took it back. That was like a one-time thing. I've not done it. What is here? Something itchy. Okay. Paramedic. Oh, somebody wants to know about pandemic stuff. Nah, I don't talk about that. I don't know what the I don't know what they're asking. They're just wanting to go pandemic stuff. Okay. Let's see. Do I have to give signal change? So funny. We've talked about this before, yesterday. Do I have to give a signal change for changing the lane, even if there's no other car on the road or the highway? Maybe you asked it and then didn't stick around for the answer, but I did answer. And that is, if no one is around, technically you don't have to signal, because it is only required if you're going to impact or affect anybody else on the road, whether it be a driver or pedestrian. But here's the deal. When we pull you over and give you a ticket, or you collide with someone, your assumptions or your take on whether or not it would affect anybody else was wrong. And so my suggestion, my wholehearted opinion and suggestion and desire for you to be safe would suggest you get in the habit of always signaling, whether you have to or not, because it's a good habit to develop. And if you didn't have to because no one was there one day, well, you didn't harm anyone. But if you get into this concept of, I'm going to look around and determine whether or not I need to signal before signaling, it's such a waste of time. Just signal all the time. Okay. Big Jeff Fresh says, good day. Interesting. Okay. Doug says that the OPP are working with Montreal police on car theft, and they're going to have a press meeting tomorrow. I'm not tracking it. That's outside of my general stuff. I got enough to do without following the news in Montreal. But I appreciate that's interesting. I'll actually look for that tomorrow. What is this? This is a drive program. Can you talk about anything? Well, we generally focus on traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff, but, shoot your question. We'll see what we have to do. If it's something that's appropriate, we'll talk about it. If it's not, I won't. Let's see here. Greek Queen 21 wants to know if it's legal to carry dog spray and deploy it if attacked as a runner. I've been followed before. So here's the deal. Dog spray is legal for use against dogs. It's not illegal to have because it has a purpose. It's intended for use against animals. And for that purpose, you're entitled to use it. If you use it as a weapon of opportunity when being attacked, well, you're using it as a weapon. You didn't plan to use it for attackers. Well, maybe you have because you've just said so. But if you truly use it for dogs, but then something happens and you use it in the heat of the moment, you may or may not get charged with assault. But at very least, you'll be able to deal with the attacker appropriately. The Grinch says, good morning. Good morning to you. Saeed says, We talked about this already. They've repeated them. Please don't repeat the questions more than once, or actually just don't repeat them at all. We see it once, it's good. Unless I say I missed it, and then you can certainly repeat it. Quebec left turns legal here? Robert wants to know. Huh? What do you mean? People do turn left in Quebec. I don't know what your question is, though. I'm not picking up what you're putting down. Okay. My G2 got expired. Can I still give G? So can you go and take your G? You need to have a valid G2. And my understanding is you will need to go and retest and do the G2 test again, renew the 5 years for that, and then go take your G. You won't lose your time unless it's been more than 3 years. I think that's when it expires. Talk to the drive test people, talk to the Service Ontario people to have better information as to how that works. But if your G2 is expired and you're not eligible to drive, you either need to get an extension if they'll issue one, which I don't think they do. And my understanding is you can retest your G2 and continue driving as a G2 until such time as you get your G. But that's the whole thing about becoming, like the whole graduate licensing process gives you the G1, G2, and G if you can complete it all within 5 years. You can renew a G, you can't renew the others without testing. Okay, question from Akela on behalf of his wife. If they want to know if non-alcoholic beer has 0 alcohol for the purposes of under 25 G1, G2 restrictions. It's not alcoholic. It's not an alcoholic beverage. It's not considered an alcoholic beverage. Yeah. So could you drive that? Could you drive and drink that while driving? Yes, you could. Would you turn a lot of heads with a container that looks like beer? You'll probably be pulled over. But would you be against the law? No. It's considered non-alcoholic. It's sold to anyone as non-alcoholic. What is the point of a stop sign at the end of a highway ramp? On-ramp? Where is that? I've never seen a stop sign at the end of an on-ramp to a highway. So please give me information. And when I say highway, I'm assuming you mean a controlled access highway, which is commonly referred to as an expressway. I've never seen that. So please let me know where that exists. Okay, why do police charge for no bumper when it's actually a plastic bumper cover? Bumper hides behind it. Are you saying you got a ticket for not having a bumper when you have a bumper? Let me know. Yeah, if the plastic is just removed, that I don't see an issue with. But if the foam is removed, the impact resistant or absorbing foam is gone, and you just have the metal frame underneath it, I would have an issue with that. But let me know. I know yellow lines are suggestions. How about white lines? So Nick wants to know, and thank you. Question coming in from X. I love it. Trying to get people into using X for asking the questions. Most people are used to us not being able to interact, and it's a new thing this year that we can now get questions from X. Anyway, exciting. Thank you, Nick. Yellow lines are not suggestions. Well, kind of. In Ontario, there's no law about crossing a yellow or a white line. People thought that yellow was a caution and white was a law. No, they're both laws. Well, they're both there for a purpose of giving you information, but there's no law for crossing them. However, yellow means that the traffic on the opposite side of that line is coming at you instead of going in the same direction, whereas a white line is the same direction. I would have a real concern if I saw yellow dotted lines. You know? At least on a highway, anyway, no, bad joke. The deal is that yellow means they're coming at you and on the other side, and white means you're going the same direction. Apparently I need some water. Vic wants to know if there is somewhere I can take my car to have my windows tested for tint too dark. You can go to any mechanic. They are all required in Ontario to have tint meters because to certify a vehicle for the road, they're supposed to be tinting the windows. Now, I've spoken to mechanics who say, yeah, I've never actually used it, but I'm required to have it, and they do inspections, and I show it to them, but I don't actually use it. Shame on them. They should be using it and should not be certifying any vehicle that doesn't pass. Now, there is something to understand here. You cannot certify a vehicle that has more than 30% light blockage on the windows directly left and right of the driver or have any tint on the windshield. But just because it passes that doesn't mean you are not going to get a ticket for obscuring the interior of your motor vehicle with a color or reflective coating. So if I can't see in, because of atmospheric conditions, aka it's dark outside, and your tint is preventing me from seeing inside, that's against the law. It's a $110 ticket. Now, if you have more light blockage because of the tint, more than 30%, that is something that makes your vehicle unsafe for the road, and I would take your license plates and you'd have to get certified again. So it depends on what we're talking about. Yeah, police don't utilize the tint meter. We have special units that do for certain purposes. Like our commercial motor vehicle unit has tint meters. They're the only ones. And they're not required to lay the charge for under the HTA. Just not required. For safety certification, different story. I hope that answers your question. If you got more of them, let me know. Kathy says, morning all, by the way. And Stevie P, do you have the ability to find someone you pull over under CVOR? To find someone you pull over under CVOR? What do you mean? Like when you have to have your CVOR number on the side of the vehicle, we punch it in. When we write tickets, we associate the CVOR to the ticket, and then the company gets dinged as well. Phantom says, thank you for your services. I'm thank you for the thank you. You're very welcome. I appreciate this. What is this? Oh, sorry. Do you have the ability to find someone you pull over under CVOR? Yes, we can, and we do. It's amazing the CVOR side of things. Like we have commercial vehicle inspectors that are qualified as such. I would phone a friend if I was dealing with a commercial motor vehicle because they would do a full inspection, whereas I would just deal with the obvious stuff. Why you guys don't find cars from the shipping container whenever anyone files a report? So this is a more complicated question. It's really for somebody who's in the investigative side of auto theft. We are the traffic services unit. We deal with collisions, highway traffic safety, traffic act enforcement. We don't deal with theft of vehicles. Sometimes we recover vehicles. Like we'll pull someone over who has a stolen vehicle, but we're not the unit that deals with that. As to why they can't find things, my understanding of the whole situation is that warrants are required. Authority has to be to open up a container. It's not just, let's look inside that because I think there might be, or even if there's a tag in there, we have laws to follow, and the police actually have to follow the rules if we want things to work in court. If we break rules, bad guy doesn't get convicted. It's a problem. Let's see here. Okay. Bud says, my community doesn't enforce the Highway Traffic Act. Does that affect my insurance if I'm in I don't see the collision. What do you mean my community doesn't enforce the Highway Traffic Act? Do you mean your community doesn't follow the Highway Traffic Act? Like people are breaking the law? If you live in a community where there's a high risk or a lot of people who are breaking the law, then yeah, your insurance rates are going to go up because there's probably higher collisions and more people causing the insurance monies to lose money. Insurance companies, not insurance monies. Whew. Let's see here. Checking time. 10 minutes until we should be hearing from Jerry Agar, but we're moving along. I don't know what Michael's talking about. Cheryl says, good morning, Sean. Good morning, Cheryl. Ryan R.O. If I want to be a police officer when I'm older, what do I do to prepare as a high school student? Okay, here's the thing. Work hard. Stay fit. Work hard. And speak to police officers, speak to recruiters, learn about policing. You don't have to take a course on policing. Learning about law is great. Find something you really like and do well and do that and get post-secondary, in my opinion, is a good thing. Specializing in something other than policing. So be an accountant because you could become a financial crime specialist or get into science and forensics because that would help you as a police officer too. People who just get the police foundations course show up with the same skills. I like to say that if you have diverse skills, you bring something new and interesting to the police service. But physical fitness and mental aptitude, like academic skills and abilities, these are good things to have, and you need them to get in. But also volunteer. Don't start a week before you want to apply. Volunteer in your community. Get involved with programs to help make you a better candidate. We're very serious about volunteerism. It's important. Also, get your license and drive responsibly because a bad driving record is going to hurt your application process. And of course, stay out of trouble because that can hurt you. If you want resources to peruse now, what did I just do here? Hang on one second. If you want, yes, I'm going to bookmark this. If you want resources, things to research Well, check out www.tps.ca/careers. That's going to take you to our employment page where you have all this great information. When you click on Police Constable, you'll learn a lot about what's expected of you, and you can work towards the goals here. Also, get an idea of what you want to do. Watch videos. Hey, watching our channel is a good thing too. We talk about stuff and things all the time. Since we're here, I can have a look at the civilian roles to see what kind of other stuff. Oh, also, if you're a high school student and you qualify, when we're doing an intake for YIPI, the Youth in Policing Initiative, check that out. If you qualify for that, I would get involved with it. It can really help you. Employee services rep, law clerk, nurse, clerk at court services, leave and absence coordinator, comms operator, solutions architect, senior analyst, same as what was there yesterday, but I like checking every day. What do we got here? Okay, I'm going to go back to my bookmark and Joshua. Let's see what Joshua wants. Hey, Sean, what's the latest news on red light cameras and speed trap zones? What do you mean? Is there new news? If there's new news, I'm not aware of the newness of the news. What specifically are you asking about? Is there something that came up in the as far as I know, they're there, and you need to follow the rules. They catch you. But if there's something new developing, let me know what it is, because I've not heard about it. Radek wants to know, if a passenger of an Uber has a cannabis vape pen in her purse, can the driver be charged? So here's the thing. If it's in their purse and they've got control of it, it's not accessible to the driver, it should not be an issue, because you can transport things in a vehicle under certain conditions. Is it open? Yeah. I don't think that would be something where there'd be an issue, because technically speaking, it's in the vehicle and it's open, not being transported, but it's in luggage. I'd have to look into that closer, but I don't think it's an issue. Okay. Oh, this is Joshua talking about left turns, Thorold going into the Thorold Tunnel. I don't know. I don't know enough about Montreal or Quebec to talk about roads. I just don't know. Let's see here. Robert says, sorry, are right turns on a no right turn sign intersection allowable if no traffic? Okay, this was more information. So right turns at a signalized intersection. You come up to a red light. Can you make a right turn on a red? Yes, after coming to a complete stop, and only if it's safe to do so, assuming there's no sign prohibiting it. That would be legal in Ontario. The U.S. has stop signs at the end of on-ramps. Yeah, I can't speak to American highways and how they're designed. Now, we do occasionally have on-ramps that go into a lane and then they have a traffic light to control traffic flow. I've seen that here on the QEW. It's weird. I'm not used to it. Not an area I've ever policed, but an area I have driven past. Can I have my toddler in a car seat in the Oh, I got it. Let's see here. Let me close this so I don't mistake them. Sorry, I saw a window open. I wanted to make sure it wasn't control from the radio station checking in. Speaking of which, let me have a quick look to see if they sent me an email in case there's any problemos. I did not see any problems. Cool. Can I have my toddler in a car seat in the passenger front seat in a classic car with no airbag? So here's the deal. In a classic car that doesn't have seatbelts, I don't know how you're going to secure it to the seat. That's the issue. If it's truly a classic car, because if it's made before 74, no seatbelts are required, which causes an issue. How do you secure the child safely? It's not required, actually, to have them in a car seat or a seatbelt, which is terrifying to me. I wouldn't want them in the car. But if you can safely and properly install a car seat, you would be able to put them in the front. In fact, you can have them in the front of a car, even if it has an airbag. It's just terribly dangerous. We want kids to be in the back seat until they're 14 years old. So if it has a back seat, put them there. That's where it's safest, away from crumple zones and dashboards and airbags. That's my take on it. But it's a weird thing with true classic cars that don't require the seatbelts. Okay, Vic asked already about window tint, and I've already answered. That was 11 minutes ago. So as an idea, when you go through rides at Canada's Wonderland, especially at Disney, they might give you it's probably just at Disney, but they give you a card, and when you get to the front, the card then triggers, and they know how long it took you to get through. That's how they approximate wait times in lines. Well, I'm using Vic Rick to determine how long it took for me to answer their question, and that was 10:19, and it is now 10:31. There you go. Okay. Ba-ba-boom. There's an argument about whether or not the stop signs are on ramps or off ramps. JM599, just to caution you, if you keep spamming, we're going to have to mute you. We don't want that. Let me say hello to the magical people here at News Talk. Hello there.
They also give you.
Hi, Sean. Can you hear me?
I hear you just fine. How do you hear us?
I hear you great. I'm Lily. I'm working with Donnie.
Hi, Lily, and hi, Donnie. And I'm guessing we're about 4 minutes?
3 minutes away.
Yeah, 3 minutes away.
Okay, if you can leave us on mute, we're going to keep going, and then if you give us a 30 seconds by the text window into private chat, we'll know to stop talking and get ready for you.
Sounds good. Okay.
Awesome, thank you. And that was, as you heard, Lily working with Donnie at News Talk 10 Control. I'll put the stuff on the screen now. If you would like to call in to the Jerry Agar Show, which is with whom we will be joining in about 3.5 minutes, you can call 416-872-1010 or text 71010. And guess what? That's what's going to happen. We'll get you on the air and we'll talk to you about stuff and things. All right. In the meantime, I'll leave that on screen and we will talk about this question. I have 0% tint on my windshield. Is that legal? 0% tint. Depending on your school of thought, 0% means either that you have no light transmission or that you have no light restricted. It's either totally clear or totally opaque. Totally clear would be legal. Totally opaque would be stupid and illegal because it would mean you wouldn't be able to see through the windshield at all. Not the way cars are designed to operate, but I like your sense of humor, sort of. Okay. What is this? Is chameleon tint legal? Chameleon tint is that tint that is sort of lighter, but it has a reflective quality. It would not be legal on the windows left and right of the driver, and it would not be legal at all on the windshield. Nothing can be on the windshield. Chameleon tint is kind of neat, but doesn't make it more legal. Okay. I mean, it's kind of neat because I've looked at it. It looks kind of neat. Let's see here. Isn't it illegal to cross a solid yellow line in Ontario, only to pass when dotted on your side solid? It's not, Brandon. Brandon, it's not illegal in Ontario at this time. I understand that lawmakers may be trying to change it because as it stands, we're the only province in Ontario that does not have a law prohibiting the crossing of these lines. Interesting stuff, right? Any tips for testing on the OACP certification? Be ready. Just prepare and then get good sleep. Work on not having a sleep deficit. If you are exhausted when you're trying to do it, you are not going to do well. So yeah, take care of yourself, eat right, train so that it's a walk in the park as opposed to a stressful experience. And also don't stress out. It's just not, it's not worth getting stressed over, even though it's easy to say, not easy to do. All right. We're scrolling back because I got some other stuff here. What's your take on cameras for speeding? I got a ticket for going 2 over. Really? I've never heard of a 2 over automated camera ticket, so that's interesting. Is it 2 over the actual posted? 25 seconds. We're going to stop talking. We'll come back to this in just a few because I want to prepare for Jerry. And if you want to put the feedback on, we'll be ready. We'll listen to the intro. We're just waiting. This is suddenly a long 20 seconds. As soon as I talk, they'll come on. No. I should have put a stopwatch on. Okay. In just a few seconds, we'll be joining Jerry Agar News Talk on News Talk 1010. If you want to call in, 416-872-1010 or text 71010, and you can be part of the show. We'll be doing this.
That's such a good idea. We might as well glom onto it. Sean Shapiro, good morning.
Good morning to you.
I understand right off the get-go, before we get to some questions that have already been texted in here, that you wrote your own theme song.
Well, I AI did it. I typed in a bunch of things, and then I've been doing one for every day, and then I did one for our segment here.
Okay. Oh, you have a new theme song every day?
Well, it's the intro to every episode, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I did one for the segment. It's something called Suno.ai. It's free. They have paid accounts too, but they have a free one, and I've been having a lot of fun playing with it.
Well, let's listen to it then.
In the city, chaos reigns, cars are honking, it's insane. But traffic cop, let's go. He's got the knowledge, he's got the style. He's here to keep the traffic from going wild on the Jerry Agar Show. He's a guest star, answering.
Okay, I don't see any royalties coming my way.
Well, I think we should. It's the first time anyone's really heard of it. That's the release right there.
Oh, all right. Okay, who's singing it?
It's entirely AI generated. So you type in some prompts, just like ChatGPT, and it generates the lyrics, the music, and the audio, the singing, the voice.
Well, they must have ripped off somebody's voice.
I just don't know how it works, but it's really cool.
You don't care. Maybe a crime is being committed.
I think we're okay.
All right. Oh, well, okay. Well, that sounds like fun. So if people want to have that kind of fun, what was the site again?
Suno, SUNO.ai.
All right. Let's get back to business, but thanks for that. That was fun. So we have a bunch of questions that have been texted in here. Do police look at dealer plates being used to transport stolen cars?
We look at dealer plates. We investigate because the dealer has to have the vehicle in their inventory for the plates to be valid to use. So we're always investigating things like that. We've also seen some fake dealer plates. So yeah, we look at everything.
Can you drive with a tow hitch attached when the tow hitch is not actually in use?
Well, your shins may not appreciate it when you kick them unintentionally when accessing your trunk, but it's not illegal. Now, we've suggested that's not always a good idea, and that's because when you're involved in a collision, the impact is going to go into the trailer hitch and not necessarily into that impact absorbing material like your bumper and the crumple zones. So it may actually cause more damage to your vehicle and may cause an issue where your insurance company doesn't want to pay for that damage.
All right. And when coming to a stop sign, where do you actually stop? At the sign? If there's a white line, do you stop there? What's the law?
So the white line, if it exists, if there isn't one, the stop sign, or if there's a crosswalk at the cross, but it's the order. We can read it right out of the act. It's the line, then if there is no line, the crosswalk, the sign, or the edge of roadway, and it's all that. If that one doesn't exist, then the next one comes into play.
All right. 416-872-1010, 416-872-1010, toll free, 877-518-5151 to talk to Sean, 518-5151, or you can text 71010. And I've just read off some questions. What kind of things are people concerned about of late on TikTok, Sean?
Oh, there's tons. And a lot of it has been, well, let's see here. We had someone who wanted to tint their windshield. That's a problem because you're not allowed to do that at all. The vehicle will be deemed unsafe. You can lose your license plates for that and have to get recertified. And then let's scroll back here. We were talking, actually, let's get a new one. Because we've had tons of questions. One wants to know about stop signs at the end. Maybe you can know about this. Have you ever seen a stop sign on an on-ramp in the United States? Because apparently one of our viewers is in the States and has had to stop at the end of an on-ramp.
Well, I've seen traffic lights at the start of an on-ramp, and so what they're doing is they're managing the frequency of the number of vehicles that come into the flow, as opposed to all of a sudden there's 5 of them bumper to bumper trying to get into traffic.
And we have some of that here, but this I've never seen a stop sign, so now I want to do some research based on this conversation.
They may be doing it with this upcoming 3-year-long project on the Gardner. I thought I read something about traffic management of that type for an on-ramp.
Oh, interesting. There are some on-ramp and off-ramp situations that we have some tremendous, well, let's say bad activity where people are, stopping in the middle of the road, trying to jump into the line, and it's just causing mayhem when it comes to, being able to pass those areas safely. So things of that nature, those lights could really come in handy for making it safer.
Somebody writes, can I fight a speeding ticket from a photo camera? Can I argue the case that when was the last time this camera was calibrated?
The certificates are posted on the Toronto website, so you can actually check that information. You can argue anything. I don't know if you'll win, though. They have some pretty good photographic evidence, and they're really up on there. A whole team of people that are managing that program of the City of Toronto. But good luck to you if you try.
Okay, this comes, I'm paraphrasing something somebody wrote in on the text board here, Sean, and this is a bugaboo for me when I'm traveling down the Gardner. Is there any kind of rule about what speed you should be going as you come off of an on-ramp into traffic?
Well, you should be using the off ramp to come down to the appropriate speed of the road you're entering. But the off ramp doesn't have, like, they have the suggested speeds that are the ones those engineers put into play to say don't fall off the road by going too fast, and they're pretty good ideas of what you should be doing. And you should be preparing to enter a slower speed traffic. Obviously, 100 kilometers an hour wouldn't be appropriate up to the light.
Well, the problem I have is you're driving on the Gardner. This happened this morning. It happens every day. Driving on the Gardner and everybody's going along. Of course, we're scrupulously following the speed limit this morning at 5 o'clock in the morning. And then somebody comes, we're going 90, okay? And somebody comes down the ramp and wants to get into traffic and they're going like 45 or 50.
Oh, they're coming onto the highway. Yeah,
Yeah,
you need to get up to speed so that you're safely merging into traffic. If you're coming in at 40, you're obviously not doing the right thing. And there's some people that are just asleep at the wheel. And this is the only time that I talk about flow of traffic. Many people think that flow of traffic means if people are speeding at 130, that's a license to do the same. It's not. You should be getting up to the speed limit as quickly as possible, using that on ramp to match speed, and then it's an easy merge. Another thing I have a real issue with is when people are choosing to jump in at the beginning of the merge opportunity as opposed to taking that merge lane all the way to the end and coming in where it's safe.
Yeah. What happens, I think, in some cases is, first of all, you're coming down the ramp. If there's somebody in front of you who won't speed up, there's nothing you can do about it. And the other part of it is that some cars just don't have enough acceleration.
Yeah, there's some cars with a top speed that max out at 90 or 100 kilometers an hour. And in today's day and age, maybe those aren't the most appropriate for some routes, but they are legal to be on the highway.
Okay, well, yeah, but stay off the highway. Here's another text question. When does the red light camera trip if you enter in a yellow?
So if you enter in a yellow, it doesn't trip. It only affects you or captures your entering the intersection after the light has changed to red. There is no yellow light camera. That's something that a police officer could charge you for, but not a red light camera.
Do you need to use your blinker in a designated turn lane or when you're on the off-ramp from the highway? Like you're sitting in a lane where it's obvious you're going to turn because there's nowhere else to go.
So you are responsible to use your indicator to notify any other driver or person using the road that may be affected by your move. If there's truly no one around, technically no, but use good habits and develop them for all the time. It's just a good practice to have. Do you have to do it when you're in a designated lane? Yes, because somebody else may not notice and may not figure out what you're doing.
Well, here's one we've never had before because we've been doing this a while, so some of the questions come up from time to time. People didn't hear your previous answer. Are there limits to the height of lift kits and tire sizes on pickups?
So there is a maximum height that you can go, and a lot of that has to do with how high your headlights are to the ground. There's also an equivalent for too low. And your bumper heights. I mean, there's I think 3-inch body lift is the maximum. There are people more qualified than me to do that inspection, and we call those people, they're mechanics who happen to be police officers or CVSA. We also get involved with the MTO who do get involved with our inspections. But there are maximums, and it is unsafe at a certain height, in my opinion.
Okay. If you need a ladder to get into your truck, maybe there's an issue.
Well, I just saw a really funny TikTok. I'll have to send it to you, where the difference between American cops and Canadian cops when it comes to lifted vehicles. And in this video, the Canadian cop yells at him for being unsafe, and the American cop pulls him over to say how rad his truck is.
Sean Shapiro, you're continuing for a while on TikTok?
Got another 16 minutes to go, and then I've got to close down at 11 this morning.
All right. At Traffic Services. Thanks for your time.
Always a pleasure. Take care.
This is the iHeartRadio Talk Network.
There we go. I'm glad that I got a laugh out of Jerry. That's good. Let's see here. Setting it back up. Just a reminder that after the show, I download it and make this available on the podcasting platforms like Apple Podcasts, iHeart Podcasts, and Spotify, along with a bunch of others. If there's an app that you like, we're probably on it. And that's how we roll. It's amazing. I didn't realize how many people would be interested in listening to us after the fact, but apparently it's a thing. All right. I was looking for a bunch of things, and I saw a lot of political crap where people are asking me things that I don't talk about, but this is not a political show. We try and avoid politics. So all the people who have issues with a prime minister or issues with events throughout the world, this is not the show for you. We're talking about traffic law, traffic safety, and police stuff. That other stuff, it's just not for here. Okay. What are we talking about? It's funny how there was a discussion. I wonder if it was our viewer from here who was talking about the on-ramp, off-ramp conversation, because how cool is it that many people want to talk about the same thing? I got a message. Scotty says it was a good show today. He heard me on the radio. Scott's a retired member from our unit, from the motor squad. So I shout out to him. All right. I love getting texts from people who hear me on the radio. It's always nice. What do we have here? Amanda's talking about something that Brandon said, and I don't see the Brandon comment now. Oh, no. This is where the Q in front of a question helps me know what you were talking about. So now Saeed may not have heard what I had talked about a few minutes ago about, can I tint the front glass of the car with very minor percentage? Not in Ontario. There are provinces that allow it, and in the States, there are places that allow it, but not in Ontario. Zero tint to the front windshield. It would make your vehicle unsafe and uncertifiable. There you go. And what do we got here? A lot of people talking about the solid double line business. It's good advice. Those lines indicate where you should not pass, where it could be unsafe because of view. And there are places where it's illegal to pass because of the views, but the lines don't have authority. And maybe that's the clarification that I need to make. The lines themselves. Here's a comment of any help on stopping theft of cars. There's tons of things you can do to make your vehicle less attractive, but you also have to know that thieves are pretty determined and pretty advanced. So while you can make your vehicle less attractive, it's not a guarantee that your vehicle won't be stolen. Terrible, terrible answer, I know, because I wish I could tell you that if you do A, B, and C, you will be safe. But the truth is that that's not the truth. Yeah, cars and are insured, and that's a good thing, because if they weren't insured and they were gone, they'd just be gone. Here's a situation where insurance pays and they replace your vehicle. Assuming you're covered for that, that's a big deal too. It's not a nice thing, but it's happening a lot, and there's a lot of people talking about it. So Faraday bags, putting the club on your steering wheel, parking in a well-lit area, using video cameras, use your garage. Some people are I've heard about somebody who puts a clamp, like a wheel clamp. What is that called? A boot on their car, their own car, every day. I would lose my mind if I had to do that. But that's some people are really dedicated to the concept of not losing their car, and I feel you. I need my wheels. Every morning I remotely start my car to warm it up in the winter, and I hold my breath. And if the battery was low on my remote and the lights didn't flash, I freaked out. I thought my car was gone. It's a real concern. But there are a lot of people who are specialized in that. I am not specialized in it. That's not my area of expertise. But I do talk about the theft prevention stuff. But in terms of the investigation stuff afterwards, it's a whole different thing. Okay. Is the speed limit always the same for both sides of the road? I don't think I've ever seen one where it's different, but I won't say that it's impossible. I'm not aware. You follow the signs in the direction of travel that you're going. Let's see here. Is lowering your car illegal if it's unsafe based on your lowering? There's a maximum lowering you can do based on headlight height. There's also a situation where we're looking for body and tire contact. If your body, actually frame contact as well, if your body or frame come into contact with your tires at any point of lock-to-lock steering, if there's any evidence of that, or if we can replicate it right then and there, that's a problem. Your vehicle's unsafe. We're taking you off the road, losing your plates. You'll have to get it safetied and then reapply. And then if your suspension isn't functional because you've cut it or you don't have a functional suspension, it doesn't go up and down, that's a problem. That would make it unsafe as well. Okay. Joe Biden doesn't work in Ontario, so I don't know. Let's see here. So back to Chrissy Mama, who was talking about getting a ticket for going 2 over. I've never heard of that. I'm interested to know. I mean, I had a situation where I thought I was going the speed limit, and I was technically doing 10 over because they changed the speed limit in the area, and I didn't notice it. And then I saw a camera, and I freaked out. I don't speed, and a lot of people say, "Come on, you totally speed." I don't speed, and in that situation, I sped, not even realizing I sped. Of course, I've never sped there again because that was a little heart attack I didn't need. I don't want to break the law. That's my whole goal every day. All right, scrolling down for more stuff and things. Can I get traffic enforcement experience as a volunteer auxiliary member? I started as an auxiliary at traffic services. I went out with officers, some of whom did enforcement activities while we were out riding along. I didn't write any tickets. I never testified to anything. I was there through osmosis, understanding, things about traffic enforcement, but I didn't do it. So yes, you can gain experience, but you won't get experience from actually doing it. You'll be getting it through osmosis. Can tires poke out of the fender? Technically, they need to be covered by a fender flare, or mud flaps, depending on their location. They shouldn't be. They should not be poking out at all. It's the thing. Okay, just a reminder that in 9 minutes I got to close the show because I got to hit the highway and head to the police college. That's where I'm going next, and going to do some stuff and things there. Okay, we talked about what is this? Oh, some vehicles are easy to accidentally change speedometer to miles per hour. I did once, went too fast for a minute. I see, mine has a constant, and yeah, I'm not going to speak for all, I don't know, but I have a digital display where I can hit a button and it'll show me miles per hour, but I always have the main display. And I think you would know if you were doing 60 miles instead of 60 kilometers. Would you hint? But yes, I could see that being a case. Would not be a defense, but I could see it being an issue. Okay. Officer Shapiro, what's your thoughts on leaving car keys by your door for easy access for car theft? I think you should do everything to prevent and make your vehicle less attractive for car thieves. And if they're so brazen and willing to break into your home, just like if they were pulling a gun and telling you at the side of the road that they're carjacking you, we would tell you to give them the keys because your safety is most important. Well, if they're going to come into your house and they want your keys and you're not going to make it easy for them, they might be pulling you out of bed at gunpoint and forcing you to give it to them. Same thing as essentially as a carjacking. So yes, I would tell you to leave it at the front door because it makes sense for your safety, not because we're making it easier. They've already done what they're going to do, and they're willing to do it, and they're not nice people. Maybe some of them, no, none of them are nice people. If they're willing to do that, they're probably willing to hurt you too. We want to keep you safe. It is all about harm reduction at that point. All right. And I love the videos. I've been watching videos of people making all sorts of funny gags about this news. It's a total misrepresentation of what was said. Nobody said leave your keys outside. Nobody wants people to steal cars. But we do want to keep you safe. Okay. 170 in Wheeling, VW. What is this? Oh, the I-70 Wheeling, West Virginia has a stop sign on the ramp. That's wild, Chad. Truly wild. I can't imagine why they would do that. I mean, it must be the same as the. I wonder if they have a large merge lane that comes in afterwards. You couldn't have the stop sign and then like just hammer down and have to try and catch up to traffic. There must be like a runway lane to get up to speed after the stop sign. But it might be exactly what we were talking about, just to try and ensure it's safe. Not something we do here. Not like that. Never seen it. Okay. I got a new phone mount, so now it's not mounted on my rearview mirror. Now it's mounted on the air vent. Much better. Outside of the view, doesn't block your view. Much better. Cell phone mounts don't necessarily make things better. If it's in your view, it's a no good. It's a no good. Okay. Tracy says, good morning, Sean. Good morning to you, Tracy. We've got, okay. This user has a 70 Nova. Bought seatbelts for the back seat and secured them from within the trunk. Yeah, adding them is, I think, a great. I like seatbelts. I like knowing that should things go sideways, I won't go the opposite way. I like, for safety, seatbelts are still the best way to keep you in the motor vehicle and to help you maintain control of the vehicle. Sometimes the G's of a spin can take you outside of the vehicle, or at very least the driver's seat, where you make things worse. You have less of a chance of recovering. Okay. How can we safely drive with a baby in our semi? That's a good question, Stephanie. They're going to need to be properly secured in a child restraint, and where that installation is going to go, I don't know. I'd have to see what your situation. It might even be the passenger front seat if there's no other forward-facing seats. Like, do you have a back seat, or is it a sleeper cab? Because you can't have somebody in the back of the sleeper, at least not a baby. So yeah, I'm interested to know what options you have. Maybe send me a DM or go on to trafficcop.ca and you can send me a message through the form, and then I can get to the point where I can understand what vehicle you've got and look into it, because there are resources that I can tap into. I've never dealt with a semi and a baby seat before, so I'd like to find out what the right answer is. What's the problem with a modified car or truck? Sorry, what's the problem with modified cars, trucks, if they're not hurting anyone or doing illegal movements? Modifications that are legal are not harming anyone. Modifications that are illegal do, in fact, harm people or have the risk of harming people. And that's what we're all about. We're all about keeping people safe. So when people make the vehicles really, really tall and then their lighting doesn't actually illuminate the road in front of them, or the bumpers no longer prevent, properly protect the drivers or pedestrians for that matter. Do you realize that raised trucks have a major issue with pedestrians? They hit them in the wrong place. Instead of having minor injuries that they survive, pedestrians are often killed. Like, there's a lot that goes into it. People go, well, it looks cool, but it's a death trap. So it depends on the modification. Will your exhaust negatively impact the community? Yeah. Will it kill anybody? No. I hope not, but it'll certainly hurt people. People say, well, what do you mean? It's just noise. Well, noise impacts people and is actually being proven to negatively impact health. People deserve to be able to sleep when they need to sleep. You could be ruining people's days, nights, babies not getting sleep. There's tons of different potential outcomes from any one of the modifications that you may or may not have. But if you want more information about modifications, let me know. We can talk about these things, just not today, because it's 10:57, which means I'm going to sadly ignore a whole bunch of messages. I'm sorry, but we'll be back here tomorrow to do it all again. I'm going to quickly look and see what dad jokes we've got, and if I've got any thing flagged that let's see here. Okay. I know I missed Constantino's question earlier about, does the officer see exactly what drivers, what is this? Does the officer see exactly what Service Ontario shows on a 3-year driving record? We actually see your lifetime driving record from even before you got your license, if you had a record. Okay. Here is dad joke 1 from Michaela. I wanted to name my son Lance, but my husband said it was too uncommon. I told him that back in medieval times, people were named Lance a lot. I'm on the wrong page. Come on. See, I had a sound effect for that, but I have multiple pages of sound effects, and I was on the wrong one. Yogi quote: Little League baseball is a very good thing because it keeps parents off the streets. Yeah. And if I only read that correctly, yeah. I hope my kids do not get into Little League. I don't want to drive there. Okay. Looking to see if I think there's another dad joke. Dad joke. I saw a loaf in a cage at the zoo. The zookeeper said it was bred in captivity. Bred. Yeah, I get it. Hey, question. Paramedic doing multiple cities in the same week. Can I rest in parking lot only to sleep? So are you allowed to sleep in your car? If you're permitted to be there on private property. I mean, I would, like in a paramedic parking lot, like where exactly in your car? Side of the road? Not necessarily. Depends on where. I don't want to give you permission and tell you that you can go places where you can't, because trespass to property is a thing. But take care of yourself. It's not fun to be everywhere all the time and not take care of yourself. It's dangerous. Okay. And Carl says, have a safe day. And on that note, I will play a song and we will see you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Do it all again. Might have more time than tomorrow to get more questions. But if you have questions, send them to me. You can go to trafficcop.ca and you can send those in a form if you're really urgently needing the answer, or just bring it back tomorrow and we'll talk about it live when we do the show tomorrow. Have a great day.
Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely helps the traffic flow. Watch for pedestrians, look out for bikes, and don't drive like a jerk that no one likes. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely is the way to go. Put down your cell phone, nobody needs you to text and drive on the DVP. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Stop at stop signs, look both ways, then go. Seatbelt save your life indeed, and watch your driving, don't speed. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safe safely is the way to go. Don't drink and drive or smoke some weed, because you might go to jail and not get free. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely helps the traffic flow.
Hasta la bye-bye, everyone.